Welcome to podcast number 47.
David can do it.
Oh, I just did it. Do you want me to say it louder?
Yeah, you don't have to whisper to us.
Welcome to podcast 47.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast number 47. We got David Castañeda here today.
47 meters
the
down.
The star from Umbrella Academy, Netflix's hit show. Welcome to the podcast, and welcome to Phuket.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you flying me over here with you and your beautiful ladies. Mark specifically.
He is my beautiful lady.
What the fuck? That turned weird.
I know.
Well, you're welcome.
Mark, when are you going to take me on a date?
When you shave.
God damn it.
Hey, speaking of that, so what's the story with your beard? Because obviously on the show you don't have one. So why are you...
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had a break for a while. I don't think I've worked in like 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mike.
Yeah, just been hanging out. So pretty much now I feel like it's kind of cool. I've been letting it grow out, see what happens to it. I've actually never had a chance to grow a beard this long. So
okay.
You ever had a beard?
No. Well, I mean, like if I don't shave for a couple of days, I look like you. So.
Oh really? Oh,
it's not purpose. Yeah, it's not purposely done.
Wow.
I just have hair like crazy.
This is the first time I've actually been able to grow it out. This nice.
This is a month right here. So
really?
Yeah, I can't grow shit.
Oh, you're.
Are you gonna keep it for the show or? Are you gonna have to shave?
I don't know,
when you get
man.
back?
I'm thinking about it. I show up back in Toronto in a few hours actually.
No, a little longer than that. You leave in a few hours.
Yeah, in a day or so. So I guess we're gonna sit down and talk about what the look for season 2 is gonna be. But right now they're so confidential about the script that we got that we can't even print it out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
talk about the show a little bit, and then we'll get to you coming to Thailand and what you're doing here. So tell us a little bit about Umbrella Academy and your role and where you are in the season.
Umbrella Academy is about these siblings, adoptive siblings who have extraordinary powers. But at the core of it, if you haven't seen it, is pretty much about these kids who are being treated as lab rats by this guy named Reginald Hargreaves, and now you see them as adults and how they are kind of responding to the world with all that trauma that the dad kind of instilled in them. And I play this guy named Diego who he has a chip on his shoulder to be the leader of the Umbrella Academy, and dad never allowed it because he knew that by being number 2 it was going to motivate number 1 to be better. And yeah, that's pretty much the
without giving too much.
Yeah, I mean, y'all should, I'm sure you guys want to go on a cheap date sometimes and, not spend a lot of money, and that's where Netflix is there
Netflix
for.
and chill.
That's every date for me.
Dude, a nice, good beer, good pizza.
Yeah, because I'm, what am I, 7 episodes in?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you didn't watch 8, I assume.
No.
Yeah.
I had a church.
Good for you.
But, yeah, man, phenomenal show. Like you said, first couple episodes, building a character.
Yeah.
All that stuff, but you nailed it right at episode 3 on.
Yeah.
Addicting.
Yeah. Once you get past the first, once you get to know all the characters, it's a free for all. Like, you're not leaving your house.
So it seems like a while back, like the network, studios and stuff is where it's at for TV and prime time and all that kind of stuff. It seems now it's shifted to Netflix. Like Netflix is, like, how is it being on Netflix knowing that everybody that turns on Netflix, it pops up? And it seems like that's the biggest viewership. I mean, it seems like that's what everyone's talking about, not like ABC or NBC or these other networks.
Yeah, well, I think what people have is they don't have patience.
Right.
When you have, when you used to have primetime TV, you would, and this is prior to DVR, people actually sit down in their living rooms and tune in on a Tuesday at 8 p.m. to watch a certain hit show. And now people are so busy and, internet and social media and all these things that people want it now.
Right.
And so now that you have, obviously you have Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Crackle's coming in also. And even Disney is, also trying to, jump it as a competitor. I think that you're starting to see this whole entertainment of TV. It's shifting into streaming, and it's fun. I mean, it's great being part of probably the head honcho of something that it's pretty much spearing the streaming services, which is Netflix, and they take really good care of us, man. They're awesome.
Do you prefer this route over like network TV? Because it is cool to, like I said, obviously watch all your shit in one viewing.
Yeah,
I mean, then you got to wait a year for your next one to come out. So
I think I've had a lot of people be very much. They're not pissed off, but they get bummed out when they know that they have to wait for us to even shoot season 2, and then they have to wait for post, and then press, and then the next one, and then they finish it in 10 hours. Something that takes us a year or so to make. They'll binge it in a weekend,
right?
But it's great. I prefer this because it's almost like you're watching a film, right? So when you go and watch TV, I have friends who are like on network TVs, and it's great. They're obviously they're doing what they love. They're making a living. They're putting a roof over their heads. As an actor, when you're doing network TV, you're pretty much working. After you're shooting, you're still working because it's still airing every week. So you have to be constantly, whether working the publicity aspect of it, and when all 10 episodes are released, you're pretty much after it's out, 6 weeks probably after it's out, you're pretty much done. It's kind of worn out. You don't have to constantly be, how would I say this, interacting in social media and stuff. But yeah, that's
damn. Well, it was you said number 2 show behind that Game of Thrones that I've never seen, but
yeah. Well, there's some articles and stuff. I mean, obviously, I get sent those to me, and it's nice to see that people actually dig it. Especially when I told Mark, I was like, yeah, you should watch it. And now Mark's coming up, and he's like, yo,
Well, it's cool. Like I said, I mean, for me to actually watch a show and then be able to talk to one of the main actors in it. I don't get to do that very often, So,
no, and I to be honest with you, I appreciate it, man. I think this is the reason why we do what we do, is for actually people to be able to come and just for once feel something that is different than their ordinary lives. I think that's why we watch movies or TVs or even read books or paint or fight. I think it's something that kind of puts us in a status of like just being in the moment.
And it's international too. And I think one thing to note, especially coming from someone who lives in Thailand, since I've been to Thailand, it's like network shows and TV, they're out, right?
Yeah.
Where could we ever watch NBC, ABC? They're out. We don't have a choice. Even if I like a show, I can't watch it unless I buy it on iTunes or something like that, right? When it comes out or whatever the case. We don't have that TV accessibility here. But with Netflix, it's like, so imagine for me, if it's as easy as it is to log into Netflix and watch these shows everywhere, I'm sure. So I mean, you said something about having a big fan base in Brazil, but I'm sure everywhere. I mean, you have Netflix is global.
There's certain shows that are not allowed in Thailand for whatever reason.
That's right. That's another problem.
So that's why
Oh, really?
But you said yours is distributed worldwide, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, wait. Which shows are banned in Thailand?
There's certain ones I think that you can try and download or get, and they're not available.
Really?
Or even like was it? There was some way I tried to look at one before, and it was like it's not available in your area or something like that. I guess there's like some kind of network problem with Thailand. They didn't come to some conclusion of how they can distribute it or something, and they just cut it out.
But it's not a content thing, right? It's more of just like legality issues.
Yeah, I think it's because, like, for instance, I think I can't remember which. I mean, it was a real Big Bang Theory. It was out in Netflix or something like that show. It may not be that exact one, but they were like, "Oh, have you watched it?" I'm like, "I'm searching." They're like, "We don't have it here,"
Do you mean it's cut on Netflix even?
Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
They have Netflix, like, because technically we're on the Australian Netflix package.
Oh, okay.
Here.
I didn't
We're
even
not
know it
in
divided
America.
it up like that.
Because 3 years ago you couldn't even get on Netflix here. They wouldn't allow it. And then somehow Australia did, I don't know, some kind of whatever.
Yeah.
And then so now we have there's a lot of Australian shows that nobody's ever heard of, obviously in America.
Yeah.
That I watch. I'm like, oh, you got to watch, Paradise Police, and they're like, what the fuck is that? But it's all,
It's Australian.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. You can't download porn here either, so you know.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I refuse your statement.
Well, it's not up to me.
Like Quentin Tarantino, I reject
your
I
hypothesis.
reject your hypothesis.
I don't know, man.
How it is.
That's true though. You can't actually download porn. Well, you can find ways.
Well, there's
I'm not
ways
saying that
around
I
it.
found ways before.
Oh, I did.
17 years or 19 years of coming here. You can find ways.
Yeah.
Because I was here, I think, during dial-up the first time I came. So that was tough. Like we had to work hard for dial-up porn. Yeah, it was tough.
I remember he paged me and said it.
Yeah.
But
I had to call them back.
Yeah.
911, star 911.
Yeah, but there is ways you can get it. But yeah, technically, like if
Yeah.
you go to a normal router, like a normal server in Thailand, and try to get porn, it'll pop up some like thing from the government, and it'll say something along the lines of, this is not allowed in this country, and you're like, it's Thailand. You can't watch porn in Thailand, but you can go
to a ping pong
party
show
with
or a ping pong show.
Exactly.
What's that?
I've never been to that,
can-
but that's something that everyone talks about.
It's weird because there is, I mean, I guess Thailand's kind of known for maybe a lot of the sex tourism type
A
things.
little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
But there's not like
bit.
it's weird because there's not like a strip club, and there's
Yeah.
not like a shop you can go buy sex
Like-
toys.
Oh yeah, you can't buy novelties.
Yeah.
There's no like sex stores.
Yeah.
So everything is kind of like
My
It's
leather-
crazy how it
my
works,
leather
man.
and chain
it's
game
so
is
like
weak.
cryptic. Yeah.
so you can do everything you want except you can't talk about it. Is that kind
It's like Fight Club, but
you
sex
can't
club.
you can't talk about Fight Club.
You can't talk about it. You
But
can't.
we are doing it right now.
They don't have
Yeah.
stores for it, but you can do it.
You're like
So, yeah.
I'd say you're Edward Norton.
I mean, thanks. Oh, is he Brad Pitt?
No,
Well, thanks,
you're,
man. No, that's okay. I'm
Yeah,
saying
you have to
we're good. We're good, bro. Let's move on. Let's move on.
I was
Let's go. I'll
like
take that.
no.
I'll even take 47-year-old
I'll-
Brad or however
I'll
old
be.
he is. I'll take it.
Who's that guy? Bob.
The one with the tits?
Tits.
Yeah.
I don't even remember
Meatloaf?
that.
Yeah, meatloaf. I'll be just like sensitive meatloaf.
Ugh.
Come here, hug. Give me a hug.
Sweaty boobs.
So now that we've kind of dove into Thailand, and what's it like? Was it your first time coming to Thailand? This trip?
Yeah, first time.
Explain
first
that.
time. Yeah, I mean it's been fun, man. I think obviously it's good to have some kind of culture shock.
Right.
Because I've always traveled to places that even my own self is like, I don't even know if like 24 hours before I get on the flight, I think maybe I shouldn't go. Because I always think about that when I went to, Australia, I went to Brazil, like, obviously there's like these,
Arkansas.
yeah, Delaware.
Arkansas sucks, dude.
Delaware.
Don't
I've
go to
never
There
been to
goes our
Arkansas.
Arkansas viewers. Thanks, Mark.
Been to-
Oh, sorry for both of you watching.
shout out
I'm sure they're
Arkansas.
related and sleeping together.
Can't
but-
wait to go see you, Arkansas.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Arkan. I thought, it's funny because I used to call it Arkansas.
What? I mean,
I swear to God, I thought Arkansas was Arkansas because it says Kansas,
Same.
but it says AR. But then they corrected me in high school. They were like,
you didn't figure that out till high school.
Yeah, I didn't figure it out.
man.
Same thing with Studio, where
Yeah.
Mark used to play.
oh,
This is a studio, and where Mark's room was a studio.
Studio?
Emphasis on stud.
Sounds like a cereal box.
I used to.
Studio.
I was like studding horses in there. Is that what it is?
Whatever you want to call it.
When I moved from Mexico, because I lived in Mexico and I came here I came for high school, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of the
Oh, now it makes sense. Sorry
A
for
lot-
making fun of you then.
No,
I
it's
thought you were
fine.
born in America.
You know me, that's how it is.
Hey, no necesito, mijo.
Yeah, see, you rolled your R's. That was pretty good.
Yeah, you had the accent perfect.
I told you can do it. You
Really?
just
I just gotta be in
you
the-
you just play dumb, dude.
All right. Go ahead, Menudo.
But but one of the things was the misspelling on things, like how to pronounce things was so different. So for example, I for my entire life I thought it was butter pecan. Butter pecan for my entire life. We go to the thrift ice cream and we'd be like, oh, can I get a butter pecan? Nobody corrected me. Nobody corrected any of us of my family. And it wasn't until I went in high school that I started making friends that we went to like the Rite Aid where there was like the thrifty ice cream. And they're like, yo, David, what do you want? And I was like, oh, can I get some butter pecan? And they all just kind of looked at me. They're like, what? I was like, butter pecan. And they were like, you mean butter pecan? And I was like, why do you want to make it sound like that, all bougie and shit?
Why you got to pronounce it correctly? Fuck?
Yeah, because butter pecan. And I was like, wow, okay. Sorry, white guy. They weren't white, though. They were Mexican.
Bolillos?
Bolillos? No. Actually, that's a good one. No, they call them coconuts, actually.
Suedos?
No, coconuts. Brown on the outside, white on the inside.
That's racist.
Oh, God, wow.
We're
Why?
gonna have to cut that.
Okay, that's fine. But it's just funny,
Sorry
dude.
for our
Like,
coconut
or for
fans out
example,
there.
like when I remember I showed up to school and this one person had this magazine of like, and I was like, it was a really cool magazine. It was just like really, beautiful girls in the front, and I was like, oh, can I see it? And I read it and it said, Ebony, and I was like, what's Ebony?
That might be Ebony.
And yeah, and this guy started laughing. It's Ebony, fool. And I was like, oh, what's Ebony? I mean, I had no, like, my, obviously what I learned, my English was up to par maybe to like second grade.
Yeah.
And then moving to Mexico was, that's all I knew.
Yeah.
So when I came back, all these little references, all these little things was just, I was like the quirky dude saying Ebony or, butter pecan.
I want to hear one more. I think we played a little bit last night. I can't remember.
Tomato? No,
we're making the English guy say the real.
Well, let's get back to Thailand real fast. So I want to get your impressions of Thailand when you first got here and up until now. Like, what are some of the things that stood out as far as the culture here? You said culture shock. So have you been shocked since you've been here? And
I mean, obviously, Thai people are so nice, and one of I remember even like because I stayed in off like 3 hours off Bangkok, some place called Samarayot, for the first 3 weeks, and one of the biggest things being there, it reminded me so much of Mexico, especially where I grew up, because I'd be running down the street and like the people would just wave at you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And in Mexico, it's very much like that. Like you can be passing by and people are having dinner, and you can say like provecho, which means like bon appetit, or I don't know how you would say it in English, to be honest with you. But there's an instant connection with people just passing by the street, and it's okay to stare.
Right.
You go to the States, you stare at someone, it immediately becomes like, what are you looking at?
Right.
It's like and so I like that sense of community. And when you're coming in, I don't speak a lick of Thai, and I'm embarrassed to say that I've probably learned 2 words since I've been here. But everyone,
4.
I know.
Yeah, I have a company of 57 or 50 employees, and I've been here for like 19 years back and forth, so it's okay.
Yeah, and
you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, thank you.
You're doing good.
That's why I go to school for. But it's been quite a beautiful experience. And now, I didn't come here to obviously enjoy the festivities of it. Right. I came more just to kind of learn the art of Muay Thai, and to see what it is that everyone talks about when you come here. Because I had a buddy of mine who came and stayed in Phuket, and he said, dude, Phuket is beautiful, but there is about 16 other islands around Phuket that are the most beautiful islands I've seen in my entire life. He says some names and stuff. I have no idea which ones, but I'm sure you know the
Phi Phi, Khao Yai, Koh Phangan, Koh Tao.
Koh Phangan. I think that's the one that he mentioned.
There's a lot, yeah.
Koh Samui. That's one of them he mentioned.
That was the first place I came to back in like 2001.
It's
right by Koh Phangan. It's like it was a smaller kind of not as built up version of Koh Phangan, and now I hear it's like big. It's like Phi Phi basically. So
and these are like white water.
Beautiful.
Beaches.
I mean, Phi Phi is where they filmed The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's one of the best, most beautiful islands in the world.
Maya Bay, whatever it is.
Yeah, Maya Bay. Yeah.
Wow.
It's shut down now for 3 years.
It's real slow right now. Well, I don't know if they allow people in or not.
Not anymore.
You can go around it. I think they shut down the island because it's like polluted, and they're trying to build it back up. It's actually a national park. But people go there and just flood it with like garbage and
that's why I've seen a few videos of like the plastic. Yeah. That's one of the things I would say about that a lot of positive great things, but one of the things that I do know is that they use a lot of plastic.
Yeah.
Like obviously I'm more conscious about the fact that every time I go to a 7-Eleven that I got a backpack, so I'm like no plastic, because they'll bag every little thing.
And they give you 10 straws every time you get drinks. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're starting to try to transfer, like they change everything over to like the Bali style. Like if you go to Bali, it's like very very green and very organic, and they use like paper straws, things like that. So we're gonna start like changing things over in the cafe so that we're a little bit more friendly for those kind of things.
Yeah, I've seen the straws. I mean, it's funny because I just saw an article that Costa Rica is going to be one of the first country to go plastic free by like 2021.
Oh wow.
In Mexico, they were like, when I was doing press tours, they were like, don't cuss, whatever you do. And the first thing I do is I show up to an interview, like a radio or TV or whatever, and I'll be like, so they told me I can't cuss. Yeah. And then they were like, you can cuss. And I was like, fuck.
Let's just say that for the rest. Let's end every single sentence with fuck.
Yeah. So I was telling this fucker. Sorry.
God, that was a little aggressive.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My mom was going to be like, mijo, I told you not to use bad words.
Mijo.
Yeah, when I was, it's crazy because when you transfer, Spanish into English, right? Because my first language is Spanish. Is that we tend to speak really fast. Yeah. Especially if you hear people speak Spanish, they just will say a certain word and they'll say it so fast that only other people, obviously, they understand the lingo, not so much the dialect, but the lingo, they'll get it. And so when I go back to Mexico and I'm having these interviews, my mom and my dad, we'd have this kind of dialogue about how to be able to speak where people can hear you. And so you speak as if you're drunk. Mm-hmm. because when you're drunk, you're really trying to enunciate every single word that you're trying to say.
That's why he sounds so clear on every
Mike,
single podcast.
come get me from the police station.
That's a true story.
Really?
Yeah, go back a few episodes to hear that story. Just search Mark in prison and you'll get that story.
What happened?
Oh, well, we probably can't say it again. People's going to be tired of hearing about it. But definitely search Mark in prison, Marc Bogutzki in prison.
Oh, you've had it. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
you'll enjoy that story.
Okay, we'll talk it off screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Greg will put the link
Talk
right
about
here.
in jail.
Yeah. So I guess we could talk about just the massage I got. I guess.
Oh yeah, I was going to say other experiences in Thailand, but tell us about that massage you got the other day. So you came to Thailand, you're training Muay Thai. Of course, you got to get a massage. You take Mark's advice and then you go get a massage. And then what happened again?
Yes and no. Hold on. First of all, I showed him to a nice elderly lady.
Oh, did you?
Who is 98% professional, I would assume.
Let's start from the beginning. First of all, we went and had sushi. All right, and you don't eat fish. Which I really appreciate the fact that you took me to get sushi.
Well, I really took Jackie, but
Jackie don't even like fish either.
She does, just not that fucking weird shit you ordered.
What, salmon?
Octopus wrapped squid with eel and toenails.
Eel
I don't know,
is
it's fucking
delicious.
disgusting.
Eel is delicious.
Nothing on there. It looked like bait.
So I told my man, I was like, hey Mark, I like to go get a massage around here. I just went to another massage a few days ago and they overcharged me and I didn't like it. It felt like they were just throwing rice at me. It was just really like that.
Like a wedding day?
Yeah, no, it was just like, like when they grab like rice pudding and they just kind of go like this, and that's all it was.
Where the fuck did you go?
Don't worry about my analogy.
Like that was a restaurant.
So
but
you
at least
had two crazy experiences. Let's hear about the second one first. We'll go back to this rice pudding party.
You felt that one. And so we go into this, the first one was great. Take me to this place, Kim's, and it was awesome. The lady broke my back. It was great. The second time I went.
You went without my advice.
Emphasis on lady. Let's just. The first one was a lady.
An older lady, which I like because older ladies they know the body, they know how to work you. And I'm sure they've been doing it for a while. And then I go again, same place, and then I get paired with a dude. And for me, I like the fact that
hold up, how did that happen though? You walk in
and I say,
and there's ladies there, and you're just like, I'll take this guy.
No, I show up and I say I like a sports massage, and then the guy said, follow me. And I was like, okay, a guy. I've had sports therapists who were
guarantee that dude doesn't even work there.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, David, I got you.
He probably just followed me. He probably followed me right behind the door. He was like, oh, this guy looks like he'll pay some good money.
Was he wearing like a bright fluorescent jacket?
No,
like maybe a taxi, like a motorbike taxi.
He looked like a stop sign. He looked
Jeans.
like a red stop sign.
He's a motorbike taxi.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. He was just. I know he had an earring. You know what I mean? I had an earring on.
Where?
So I was like,
well, there you go. That makes sense now.
But then he comes and it's like. I've had masseuse therapists who are men, and they're actually really good because they're very strong with their hands. And so, Mark, I'm tired of bullshit right now.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
And so, second of all, he gives me a foot massage. It was good. All right, cool. Go to the top floor, and then he's like,
hold up, it's a different level.
Wait, they took you to a different room.
So well, because you get the foot massage in the first floor with like the seats, and then he takes you to the second floor,
which is private area.
Which is the same one where the lady took me. So I didn't see anything different, anything sketchy. So it takes me to the top floor, and I noticed the room was a little bit smaller, and it was like so you have these two areas, right? You have an area where the lady took me, which is like you go up and it's more like 2 beds per room, but he took me to the left, which is like as soon as we made to the left before we started going up the stairs, there was like people passed out on the floor and like another person doing laundry. So I was like, all right, this is a little.
You went
odd.
home with the guy.
No.
Did he hold your hand?
I could have. It kind of felt like I was going through like their neighborhood or like some kind of like rest area. Like,
was the theme from Titanic playing? And that's not a joke because every massage parlor plays that.
Yeah, no, but I heard.
So you weren't in a massage parlor.
I heard they love Celine Dion here.
Yeah, who doesn't?
I'm okay with her, but so we go to the top and he's like, okay. So I get on my underwear and I lay on my back and at first he covers me and he starts kind of oiling up my legs and it starts with the leg and he's so tender and I was like, dude, can you go harder?
You met him on Tinder?
Yeah. No,
he's tender.
Oh, tender.
Tender. He was like,
No.
He was too soft.
He was too soft, and I was like, dude. And I was like, can you go harder? And he was like, okay. And he wasn't going harder. And I was like, Okay, and I usually I think about it this way: when everyone gives a massage, I allow them to figure out what they're doing. Maybe they're just working the body in first, and then they'll go hard. I've had that before.
Yeah.
So I let him for another 10 minutes, and I was like, "All right, dude." Like, I literally pressed my thumb on the bed, and I was like, "Hard," and he's like, "Oh, okay." Did it for like 2 minutes, forgot about it. Continue just stroking my leg, right? Goes on the next leg, goes my arm, goes the other arm. Tells me to flip over. When he tells me to flip over, it doesn't cover me. He just lets me bare. I wasn't fully butt naked, but I was in my underwear.
So you were facing up or down?
It's facing up.
So you're facing up and you're just completely...
I'm just in my underwear, but like usually they cover you and then they expose the limbs they're about to work on you. So I'm sitting there, and I'm laying there, and this dude just starts going at it, and he's not going hard, but then he starts. I was face up for about maybe a good 35 minutes. I'd say 25 minutes he focused in between my thighs and my abdominals, and I mean like he was just here, right? And it was almost like he was trying to challenge me to say, "Hey, buddy, wake up." But I knew he was challenging me when he actually picked up my underwear and he went under it, right? But obviously didn't touch me, but he went under it and he put his hand right there, and I just thought, oh, this dude's trying to go for it. But you know what?
Why is there a but anything at this point?
Well, you know what? Like I said,
this
was just me thinking there has to be a reason for why he's doing it. Maybe he's gonna hit a certain nerve or something. Like, I didn't doubt it, and then I remember my towel being like this. You know, I was covering my face, and the towel was little by little kind of popping up like this. And I just kept thinking, like, please don't fall off, because this is the only thing that's protecting me from this moment of me kind of overthinking it. And maybe I was thinking, I think this dude is trying to get an extra tip or something. But thankfully, I never got to that point. I'm happy to say that.
I know it's one of your first experiences like that, but that's probably pretty standard here.
Yeah, you know what? I was literally like waiting, because obviously I'm here to get a massage. First of all, I don't do strip clubs and I don't do like those places. Yeah. It just weirds me out. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that this dude was kind of touching the line, it really made me think like, okay, my hand was was up and it was ready. It was just like ready to be like, you know, and he didn't do it. And so when I got dressed up and I sat down and I was thinking like, man, I was almost near violated. I was sitting there.
Close call.
And then the guy was just looking at me right there in front of me, and he brings the tea out, and I felt like, I was like, okay, he did his job though. He did his job, you know. He's trying to feed his family.
Would you go back?
Not to him.
Did he get a tip?
I did. I tipped him. I gave him $100.
Oh wow.
I did, because you know what? He didn't. A part of me was like, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but another part of me was like, I wasn't. He was going for it. But is that normal?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Don't ask Marcus.
Yeah, because Mark
that normal line gets really blurred.
Yeah.
Well, here's how I avoid men touching me. Don't pay them to touch you.
I don't mind it, man. I'm being honest with you, because I like this. Yeah, I don't mind it. I like the, and this is why I didn't stop him. Be honest with you, because I am very comfortable with my own sexuality. That I was just like, okay, I just respect myself more to know that if he decides, or anyone, like if anyone, whether man or woman, decides to pass a certain line, you know, they're gonna hear from it. Yeah. You know.
I've had sports massages by guys that were like really good in the field. The UFC had them, or, you know, my management brought them in or something like that. And they were like almost like doctors, like chiropractors, you know, and it was very stern. And they were doing like, you know, getting the kinks out of training and soreness and stuff. So I can totally see your point on that. Yeah. But at the same time, if I get a relaxing massage, I've always had females.
Yeah.
However they are, old, young, whatever. Nothing like sexual about it. But it would just be weird for me in that situation, I think, to have a guy who's not like a good sports kind of, you know, especially if he's a little bit feminine, but not quite a woman. And I have nothing against feminine guys or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, it wouldn't be the same experience to me just because I think I'm so used to female masseuses Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a comfort level, I think. I don't know. Not that I think he would try to do anything or he would look at me that way. I just couldn't relax, I think, just because you're always worried that, like, what if? Like what you were saying, you overthought probably.
Yeah.
Because what if he did do something, then I have to do something to defend myself. Now I'm in a situation where, like, a female can do almost anything, and you're like, I mean, obviously we're not going to go to a place that does the full thing, but she can do things, and you're not going to have to defend yourself and, like, stand firm on your sexuality and, like, get mad at her or something. But a guy, you're always at that point where, like, if something does happen, I gotta react. I gotta do what I gotta do, and I gotta make the right decision here. That takes the comfort level out of, like, just relaxing and just whatever,
and just allowing it to happen.
For me, but I admire your strength on that, because I mean, obviously, he was probably fine.
Yeah, I think it's you don't obviously, someone's hands usually don't correlate to someone's face. I would say, right? So like, if the hands itself, see, Marc's hands are very feminine. I can feel it already. Like, are they painted?
Calluses, buddy. Calluses. That's hard work.
He's like, if I ever get itchy, I'm gonna call you and I'm gonna ask you, hey, can you palm my back so you can scratch my back? That's what my dad.
Hard work, buddy.
My dad and my
uncles, they have their they work in construction, so they'd have these, like, gigantic callous hands, and they make fun of my hands. They're like, oh, you got piano hands, or whatever they call it. And then I'm like, yeah, well, women, be like, well, women like it when, because they're soft. And they'll be like, well, yeah, well, they would joke. They'd be like, well, women like ours because when they get itchy, we just go.
Nice. True.
And they'll just scratch. I didn't mean to do that to your leg. I'm sorry. That was just an instinct.
And now I need to cover my.
Yeah, cover
give me
yourself.
A towel.
Yeah, dude. But I understand that. I completely do. I felt for my own sake in that instance was something that I've had dudes do their thing, and they've been honestly sometimes even better than the women.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and this was just a instance where, like, it's almost like I've been to masseuses that are women also, and they're not that good.
Right.
And that was my instance. I've been to masseuses that are women that are not that good, and I'll be like, okay, I'm not going back with you. Same thing with that dude. I'm not going back to that dude. Not because he's a dude, more because he was just horrible at the massage.
Well, like you said, you even tipped him anyway, because he's working for his family and stuff.
I did. I was like, I did, and you know what? He stretched me out pretty good after, though. That I did leave. He stretched me out.
They do that here very well.
Yeah, they do that. He cracked my back and my neck and stuff, so that was really nice.
I think the difference too is, like, when I get a massage, most of the time, if I get one, I don't get many here, to be honest, but if I do, it's more of a relaxing type de-stress kind of massage. It's not like a sports therapy kind of like I used to do.
Yeah.
So in that regard, if it's a female or somebody that I'm more used to, I can just relax, not think about anything. If it's a guy, I think for some reason I have to think then,
Yeah.
So it's not there's nothing, I'm not jumping into any conclusions, but I just have to think, like, okay, this is, you know what I mean? It's different, right? And then you hear the stories, all the stuff. Even Hollywood celebrities had some issues with male masseuses. So
yeah,
I think it's just a level of comfort for your mind. For me, I don't know. Hopefully, it's not wrong of me saying that. I feel more comfortable if it's a female.
I see it this way. For example, you're in a bed and you're, like, in the darkness and you're laying in your pillows and they're so comfortable and you're just, like, pitch black, but you're, like, laying there, right? And then out of nowhere, and you're on your phone, and out of nowhere you see a cockroach, right? And then you kill the cockroach, but you don't want to turn on your room light. So you're in the darkness and you're trying to lay down and you're trying to go to sleep, but you can't because you have a thought that maybe there's going to be another cockroach in there. It's a peace of mind thing. I know it's a horrible analogy, but that happened to me. That happened to me 2 days ago, where, like, there's a cockroach and I killed it, and then I just couldn't go to sleep for like 3 hours because I just.
With your bare hands? You savage.
I'm a beast.
He threw a knife at it.
La cucaracha.
Yeah.
Tell us, if you don't mind, about your training you received here. Because you're doing it obviously for your...
Not overly plug in and try... Your honest opinion of not only the gym, but just the style of training.
Because you went to the first gym for a couple of weeks, then you spent 8 days with us.
It's interesting because both of them are very, they're very different, right? Because obviously when I went to the first one, I loved it, because you show up, you're by the beach, there's nobody there, you're training, the pros of that was, like, you were there, you can mentally just focus on just training, and that's it, like, and you would eat the same goddamn thing every day. I feel like, but after a while, it becomes tedious, right? And obviously, when you're a fighter, because I did this, I played football, and hygiene isn't really in the top. When you're playing sports, you're like, yeah, fuck it, same socks, same shirt. Yeah. You're going out and practicing. You don't really care. So hygiene, obviously, when I was younger, didn't really care. Now, it's a huge thing. And so after like 3 weeks, you know, there was a few people in the camp that they were getting staph infections, and because they don't speak English, to translate that to be like, can you wash the mats daily? That's not a. They'll look at you like, what are you talking about? And staph infections is a very normal thing. It's like, oh, you know, just.
They think if it's dry, it's clean. That's their mentality.
Yeah, and so I very much like at that point I realized, okay, like, you know, when you stop getting inspired by the people you're around and the place you're around, that's moment to jump and move in anything, I think.
Right.
So thankfully, you know, my buddy JJ, who, you know, obviously came here and had great things to talk about with you guys.
JJ Soria, the old
our podcast alum.
Yeah, podcast JJ. If you're out there, JJ, he always does this thing. He's like, he does his photo. He's like, yeah, it's like rise and grind, baby.
Let's do that.
He works out every day, though, man. I'm always seeing his workouts on Instagram. The dude works hard.
Yeah, he's probably like on his 4th workout already today.
Yeah, dude, he works out
that dude, and like at his age, I'm just like, what's his secret?
He was working 3 times a day here, too.
That's insane. Yeah. Like, I worked out twice a day for 26 days, you know, and I had 1 day off, 2 days off, because I would still work out on Sundays. But here, it's like my body is literally saying stop.
Yeah.
Like today, I went into the gym and I did like a 40-minute workout, and I was just like, okay, like my body's saying relax now. And JJ is like every day, whether it's like weight training, hit training, boxing, Muay Thai.
Yeah, he trains like a savage.
Yeah, he trains like a savage, and I don't know, you know.
So he told you to come.
He told me to come. He told me to come here, and it was cool because it was just like one moment I was talking to my boy, and I was like, yo, like I'm very much like not feeling it anymore, and he's like, well, leave. And I was like, oh, that's true, I can leave. He was like, yeah, leave. And I was like, just go somewhere else. And I was like, and then I just remembered JJ said, I was like, oh yeah, AKA. So I looked it up. I didn't even book a room. I just literally just booked the flight. Got on I like literally 10 minutes before getting off the flight, I talked to Spicy on the phone. Talked to Spicy.
Our front desk. One of our front desk.
Well, a lot of the Thais have difficult names to pronounce for foreigners, so they just kind of pick an object or a verb.
May, June.
Yeah.
Basically April, because her name is Songkran,
which is born in April.
April.
Calendar girls.
That was the funniest thing. It was funny because I was like, man, I'm going to a place where the receptionist is named Spicy. I can't wait to meet her. That was the first thing I thought.
Shout out to Spicy.
Shout out to Spicy. And
lovely girl.
I was like talking to Spicy, trying to figure out, you know, okay, look, I land in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
How do I get there? And they're like, we can set up a taxi to pick you up. I was like, great. And then from that point on, man, I mean, like, be honest with you, I'm very impressed, man. Like, just coming here, like, just the people around, the food y'all hook up, man, is fucking great. Even the trainers. It's great when you have like it feels like you're doing private sessions even when you're doing group sessions.
Right.
That's like a huge thing, because even when we're doing bag works, like you have like a dude coming up to you and telling you, hey, yo, like step here, do this, punch here, you know, move your body like this. You're not just hitting the bag blindly, and you're like, you know, and one of the biggest things, like, you always want to come in and you want to like make a good impact and show that you're not like a bitch.
Yeah.
Right.
So and they're telling you, slow down, you don't have to hit that hard, like worry more about mechanics and work your way up. But it was cool, man. I mean, definitely I want to come back. That's number one. I want to come back. And
my 40th.
Huh?
My 40th.
Your 40th. Was it January? What you said? 21st, 29th?
9th, but
29th.
I'll celebrate the entire month.
Oh, January 9th.
Simon.
Oh man, yeah, I probably won't make it. I'm sorry.
I'll survive, but I'm just saying.
I'm just kidding, dude. I'll try to make it.
Okay.
I'll try to make it. Yeah, but it's cool. I've I appreciate you guys kind of, you know, showing me around. It's been quite an experience, especially the last week, which is, you know, how long I've been here. The last week, it's been actually really, really cool.
It's good having you, man. This is kind of the exciting part of our job. You know, like me and Mark talked about it before. Like, I remember the first time you told me, like, dude, it's like exciting for me to go to work. Like every day, I get excited, and he does. You know, he gets so excited. He's so excited to get there.
Bag.
I said that 4 times, and then he goes in, and it's just like he's so happy because it's like we meet people like you. You know, all the time. People that come in, they have interesting stories. They're great people.
Yeah.
And all we have to do is treat people good and give back and make it a great experience. And everybody's happy, right? They're happy. They come back. They tell people like JJ told you. And we just keep having this like awesome experience every time somebody comes in, and it's like, you came and it's been great hanging out with you, man. We've been going to eat, hanging out at the gym.
Yeah,
it's like awesome.
You didn't go to the beach one time though.
Tons of
Yeah,
shit.
you didn't go. You were supposed to go cruising with me one day.
Yeah, but
you're from Hollywood and you go to the movies here, and I'm like, hey, waiting for you at the beach. I'm like, bro, look at this,
dude.
Look at this beach.
I kid you not, man. I hadn't been to the movie. I go to the movies almost like twice a week.
Really?
Yeah, like it's religious, and so that's why when I was at this other place, you know, I met these really cool, you know, these cool kids from England. They were like 19. They've been there for 2 months. They were going to do another month. Mm-hmm. And I would bring up these movies, and they'd be like, mate, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's good. And then they would kind of like, they'd poke fun at me because I always go to the movies. And they're like, why do you always go to the movies? Don't you have a life? And I was like, that's actually my job. My job is to go to the movies. And so being here for, you know, a week, and I was like, and the fact that the Cineplex is like 20 minutes.
Talk about that for a second. I think people think that there's like a screen on the beach and it's like fold out chairs. Talk about how nice the theaters are in Thailand.
Oh my God.
In Phuket, right here.
Yeah, man, dude. I mean, the theaters here are like state of the art, like great theaters. I mean, the malls, like some of the mall here is better than some of the malls in LA.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful, and doesn't help. I mean, it helps the fact that the AC is fully blasting.
Yeah, it is.
You know, but I'll show up to like any spot in like in the mall, and I'll just like, for example, I went to have sushi at the mall, and I ordered like 6 plates, and the lady was looking at me like I was sick or something. You're like, are you okay?
My last meal.
Yeah, like exactly, because I was like, I'll take the seaweed, I'll take the salmon, I'll take the wagyu steak, I'll take a soda water, and I'll take a salad, and I'll take a coffee. And the lady looks at me like, okay, just like typing it down, like,
where's the rest of your family?
Yeah, like, who the hell is this guy? Like, oh my God. Like, they were literally like, there's maybe like 2 or 3 people like outside of the door looking at me, making sure I didn't run out on the bill because I ordered so much food.
Huh?
Yeah.
They don't
like
eat very much here,
$15.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
That's
I'd
the crazy
probably pay like $30.
Yeah,
something.
for like that's crazy, man.
If anything, it was great, man. I think next time, hopefully, when I come back, you know, it'll be more of just like enjoying it, because obviously being here for a month was more of just me just like focusing on getting ready for season 2.
Right.
You know, being able to kind of come in, and because when you know, obviously when you're shooting and you're having to do all these choreos, all these fight scenes, the best thing you can do for everyone, for the crew, you know, and for the stunt guys and everything, is be fully prepared to the point where it takes less time to prep for a fight.
Right.
So that way, instead of taking 16 hours to do a shooting day, it'll take 14 hours. And it gives that crew, that guy that's, you know, picking up all the stuff at the end of the night, because there's people that sleep 4 or 5 hours a day when they're shooting for 7 months. Hopefully give that guy an extra hour, you know, because that really takes, you know, it really does take a toll after, like, you know, half a year.
I want to get to your films real quick, but before that, so since it's your first time kind of coming to Thailand, we'll focus on kind of Phuket. What about for people that are watching? A lot of people that watch this podcast are coming to Phuket for the first time, like you did, right?
Yeah.
So what is your advice kind of like to get people ready for when they come to Phuket to train at the gym, and what they can expect? What would you say to that? What might have been different or not what you expected? You can kind of help prepare them.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that was very, very much interesting was when you go to the movies and the national anthem with the king pops up, you need to stand up. That's numero uno. Take your hat off. Because it's a very honorable thing to do, I guess, to come in and really respect the culture and what it is. And that's one of the biggest things that I come into any country is, like, I go and say, what do I do as a foreigner to respect the people around here, and what is the don'ts, you know, number one. So that's one of the biggest things, is like they take obviously their you know, highness very, very, very much very seriously. Secondly, everyone's kind of like, there's a very like a laid back attitude, you know, when you come into Phuket. I was talking to the taxi guy who's driving me in, and he speaks English. So there's a lot of people here that kind of understand what you're trying to say. Even if they don't, they really will try to. And it's funny because I realized that they mirror foreigners very well. Because at first I was getting, you know, cop, and they'd be like this, right? And, you know, you kind of bow a little bit. And eventually, the more you get to know them, the more they were just like, I'd be like, hey, you know, they'd be like, hey. And now they're just saying cop. They'll do this thing, you know, or they mirror. So you start building this bond with these you know, Thai people. But yeah, aside from that, man, you know, coming into Phuket, like, one of the biggest things that I understand is like you gotta make sure you eat. If you're training so hard, man, you gotta eat, because one of the things, the misconceptions that I had coming into working out was, I'm training because I want to look good.
Right.
But the reality is, no, you're training to get better, and you're training to learn an art form. And if you're not fully at 100% in terms of like your energy, you won't learn shit. You'll space out midway through a workout, and so you're working out not to look good. You're eating not to look good. You're eating to get the next workout in, and therefore the workout kind of leads to hopefully looking good. I mean, that was my interpretation of it. But obviously, I don't do this professionally. Thank you.
You look like it, bro. I was watching you work with a trainer.
Oh, thank you, man.
Looks good out there, man.
Well, it's all dance. What it is.
We got a good video that you're gonna have to post eventually, and I think people will be able to see a different side of David Castañeda.
Shout out to Greg Blunt, huh? Happy birthday, Greg.
Greg. Oh man, I hope so. Happy birthday, Greg.
Thank you.
I hope so, man. I hope. Obviously, you don't know what you look like until you actually see it from the outside, but. It's all, in my opinion, it's all dancing. I mean, in a certain way, it's rhythm. Mm-hmm. When you do choreos, it's all rhythm. And thankfully, my mom put me in salsa classes when I was younger, and was able to kind of learn movement.
Yeah, I was going to take you to salsa too.
You would have. I mean, I would have loosened up those brick hips you got. I'm sorry, Mark.
I'm also 10 years older than you. All right, we'll see what you look like at 40.
So let's get to your movies real fast. So what movies do you have out and coming out? So I know you have Sicario.
Yeah.
That was great. I saw that. It was a great film.
Thank you.
And then El Chicano.
El Chicano came out May 3rd. It might be still on theaters, actually.
I think it is.
Yeah.
And you worked with Van Damme as well.
Yeah, We Die Young, which that came out in March. I believe the We Die Young is already on. I believe it's on Amazon Prime now.
Okay.
So if you want to stream it on that. Play like this gangster from MS-13.
Yeah, and, I saw your tats. It was amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Covered head to toe.
I mean, shout out to Valentin. He was this man in Bulgaria, really, really sweet man who every 3 hours, every day, and it really made me consider thinking, okay, how does my future characters are gonna look? Because literally spending 3 hours in a chair every day, it takes a toll. Right. You're sitting there and you have to find ways to either meditate or run through certain, obviously run through your scenes or whatever. But once they start getting to your face and you have to keep your eyes closed because they're putting all these things around, you really have to find some kind of zen in it. Let's see. I have this other one with Billy Crystal that we don't know when it's coming out yet, but it's called Standing Up, Falling Down. Mm-hmm. It's Billy Crystal, Ben Schwartz, and then The Tax Collector, which is with David Ayer and Shia LaBeouf and Bobby Soto.
I'm supposed to fight Shia LaBeouf. Remember that? So
yeah, soon enough.
He was trying to get a fight with him. I forgot what brought that on. But
that was what's his name? Mickey Rourke.
Oh, that's right.
He wanted me to fight him. I don't know why.
Shout out, Bobby.
We never heard back from Shia, so I guess he's too busy to fight Mark. Kickboxing fight.
I'm sure he's out there saving the world.
And you worked with Van Damme, so I'm older than you are, obviously. So Van Damme, Steven Seagal, Chuck Norris, these guys were like my heroes growing up. Oh
my God, yeah.
So was it for you the same when you were growing up? You watched Van Damme movies?
Yeah, I mean, from like Double Team and Kickboxer,
right? Double Team,
remember
his twin.
That's not the one with Dennis Rodman, is it?
No,
I don't remember.
Knockoff was Van Damme.
Well, no, because Time Cop had a
Double
twin,
Take.
right?
Double Take.
Was it?
Do you remember one of my favorite ones actually? And maybe if I see it again, I'll think differently. But one of my favorite ones when I was growing up. Remember that one where he's at a hockey game?
Sudden Death.
That's Sudden Death.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's where he's got to save the final for the bomb in the middle.
One of my favorite things was, and to this day I still thinking about it, is like he put a tube down his sleeve, and then he put nails, and he had a pump, and so he would be like this, freeze, and he'd be like this, and then he'd press the pump, and these nails would fly out and kill the dude. I remember that. I was like, oh, that was
next level.
Yeah, that was dope. That was kind of like watching Desperado with Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, of course.
When he pulls out the guns from his sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to think my dad was like that.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was like, yo, my dad's so badass. He probably has guns under his sleeve. I was like,
my dad actually does.
Yeah,
from Texas.
Yeah.
Just real quick, you got to admit that the best Van Damme movie of all time is Bloodsport, right?
That's up there.
Yeah, I'd say it's
Kickboxing's not bad too.
Yeah, you know what? I would even
That's
say
what started me coming to Thailand.
Cyborg was still good.
I would even say Universal Soldier was actually
that's
really
not bad
good.
either.
Yeah, the first one with Dolph Lundgren. I thought that was a really good movie.
What else?
But it was
had so many good ones.
But it was great, man. I remember like I when I took that movie, I was like, it was just this. It was this nostalgic thing of like telling my dad and my uncles and a few friends like, yo, I'm doing a movie with Van Damme.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they were like, that's dope. Like some people were like, obviously some people, that's not their choice, whatever. But for me, it was like this nostalgic thing. I was like, I get to work with someone that I looked up to my entire life. And
that's the reason it is. I mean, it's not that he's as relevant as he used to be. I mean, you did a movie with Benicio del Toro coming into that, but it's the fact that when you were growing up, like me, you watched this guy and he probably inspired a lot of the things you did. Because definitely for me, kickboxers is the reason I went to Thailand in the first place, and here we are right now. So I think that has a huge factor.
Well, the Karate Kid got you in a fight.
Let me ask you, when you worked with him, did it change anything working with him from watching him in movies when you were growing up? Not good or bad, but just like, was there any difference of like how he worked, his work ethic, or how seriously he took it? Because he's older, and I assume things change. But, I mean, he's still working hard, it seems like.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would say, the man's doing. I mean, he's doing like 4 or 5 movies a year.
It's crazy, yeah.
I mean, and I think he's kind of shifted his sense when he did JCVD.
Yeah, that was his big shift in.
Yeah, his big shift where like he actually tried to do like a dramatic role, which I saw it. It was really good. Yeah. It was a really good movie. Watching him on set, it was actually interesting because he really still takes it as serious as someone like anyone that's like still trying to make a name for himself. Because I remember like him being there and just in the freezing cold, and there he was like doing like 20 squats and 20 pushes right before his take, and it wasn't like a fighting scene or anything. It was just he literally was just trying to get himself amped up for a certain take. And me seeing that, I was like, oh, that's it's great to see that. People are still trying to work themselves up to a certain level where like you don't walk in and you're like, oh, I just know my lines, I'm gonna say them, and I'm gonna walk out. And it was very much like he'd come in and he'd be very much prepared and do his thing, and it was a treat to watch. I mean, he was only there for like a week, because I was shooting there for like 2 weeks prior, so it was a really treat to watch him kind of do his thing. But it was because of him that I actually love stunts.
Right.
It's because of him that him and Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee, Jet Li, who else?
Tommy Lee and Pamela Lee.
Pamela Lee. Actually, I never saw that video.
I haven't either.
They did their own stunts too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Liar. She lied to me.
Everybody's seen it.
I haven't.
You never saw it?
No,
really?
I never saw it. I saw like.
You want me to tell you what happens?
No, I'm sure what happens, but I never actually like looked it up. It wasn't something that was very much interesting. I saw like I think MTV or VH1 would like show like, oh, so and so music, tape, whatever, and they'd show like clips of their faces, but they never actually showed, the thing.
So I'll send you a link.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
So what's
send
your
VHS?
Yeah.
What's a couple of your like long-term goals in acting as far as like what are 2 things that's really driving you to pursue this so much? Is it winning an award, maybe an Oscar, or is it working with certain people or certain types of movies? What is it that really fires you up when you do a film?
I think telling stories is a huge kind of motivator, and obviously stories that people can connect with. That's like the biggest thing. And as a person, I think I was talking to someone, my sister actually. I was talking to my sister about this. Is I'm constantly looking to surprise myself, like whether it is putting myself through like a an intensive 6-week thing, whatever it is, and then having that one split second or the split minute of coming out of it and thinking, holy shit, like I had no idea I had that in me.
Right.
And when it comes to doing films or TV or whatever, that's the culmination of when you put so much hard work into something, and it's like the Olympics. You put so much hard work for years or decades, and then you have that one moment. That moment is I think sometimes what I'm chasing.
Right.
And that's why I'm here for a month, and sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, but what I hope for is that, like, you know, when I get to work, this is an actual way to add to the box of tools.
Right.
But yeah, I don't, you know, awards is, you know, it's obviously you want to be recognized by your peers as like being like, oh, he's good at what he does, and that's very nice. At the end of the day, that kind of fades away.
Right.
Like, my biggest thing at the end of the day is I want to be able to make something that people can connect to 20, 30 years from now, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, he really did his thing. And that's about it. Aside from that, I just want to have a healthy family. All my parents would be cool, my sisters would be cool, my cousins, friends.
So it's like your effect on people and the impact that you make, kind of like probably what happened to you when you were coming up, the actors that kind of impacted you, like we talked about Van Damme. That's kind of what you're going for, seeing people get what you're doing and changing their thoughts on whatever it is that you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my parents, they I don't have anyone in my immediate family that is like in this kind of industry, any kind of art form. They're not in any of this. So for them to see me kind of go against the grain, and then and at first being very like, yo, you got to be careful, like, you know, you know, what if you don't make it? You got to have a backup plan, blah blah blah. And then coming back around, and then they're like, oh, you're gonna be okay. That is something that obviously I think a lot of kids out there, especially like in the minority aspect, hopefully they can see, and they'll be like, I can too make a left here instead of making a right, which everyone expects me to make a right. I can make a left and follow through with that. I think that's like a cool thing.
Cool, man.
Damn.
That's awesome.
This got beautiful at the end, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
That's good, man. And so if you haven't seen it already, it's Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
Yeah.
Catch up. You can watch the whole season. Streaming on Netflix right now.
Streaming on Netflix, baby.
El Chicano.
We Die Young.
We Die Young.
Stay tuned for Standing
Sicario.
Up, Falling Down. Oh yeah, Sicario. Standing Up, Falling Down, and Tax Collector.
Yep.
That should be. I'm excited to see that one. Actually, I haven't seen anything. Standing Up, Falling Down, Billy Crystal was great.
Cool.
Yeah, I saw it at Tribeca.
I'm looking forward to seeing that one too.
Yeah,
Billy Crystal's awesome.
It's really,
How excited were you to work with him?
Oh man, it was fun. It was fun because we're at the after party, and Billy's passing by, and like we kind of rub shoulders, and he kind of says, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh, hi, Billy," and he's like, "Hi, kid," you know. I was like, "I'm David," and he's like, "I know, kid." You know,
because that felt good, huh?
Oh my God, that was amazing. Like, Billy Crystal knew who I was. I mean, I'm sure maybe part of it was like, well, you're here in front of me, and I just saw the movie also with you. But the fact that he said that, I was like, that was like the little, you know, I've seen like When Harry Met Sally. That was like a movie I grew up with.
Right.
And seeing that Billy say that to me, I was like, oh, cool. And he also said, great job. You know. Him saying that was meant a lot, because they don't have to say that.
It's a big accolade coming from someone like that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the biggest things about compliments, and I'm sure we're kind of cynical about it sometimes, is we take the criticism so heavily, and the compliments, we just kind of brush them off.
Right.
I think it's a very natural thing for us to do, at least for me. And my mentor, who's been my acting teacher for like 10 years. His name's James, and he was like, you know, when they give you a compliment, you have to know that they don't have to. They really don't. Like, they can literally just say hello, and that's it. So just know that when people go out of their way to compliment you, you don't have to make it a thing or put it down or whatever, but just know that when someone goes out of their way and says something nice about you, they don't have to.
Right.
You know, no one's putting a gun to their head. You know.
Yeah. Cool, man. Shit, thanks for being here, and thanks for all this insight, man. It was, like Mark said, it got really beautiful there at the end.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It still is.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for coming to AKA Thailand. Thanks for obviously entertaining us for a few days and being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man. Hey, AKA Thailand, man. Go get yourself that #1, that protein shake, AKA bestseller, man.
That's Mike's recipe.
My favorite. That's my personal recipe.
It'll blow your mind.
It's so good, man.
Yeah, dude.
Every single day for like 5 years, I've had that in the morning. When I wake up, go get the shake.
2 of them. I needed. Like the last 3 days, I had 2 of them a day, and I was like, I literally said, no food. Give me that shake. Yeah. So don't.
I do it every day. It's
herb chicken too. Shout out to
herb chicken. Shout out to the Mark sauce.
Mark sauce on the
Mark
chicken.
I got the recipe for that already.
Yeah, I got the recipe.
I'm really excited to actually do that at home.
Is there a name for it? It's weird if people ask for it. Can I have Mark sauce on my herb chicken?
It's a really difficult Thai name for me to pronounce.
They'll just say Mark sauce. Everybody knows.
Yeah. Kind of weird, but
yeah. Toronto, coming for you, baby. Season 2. Be ready.
If I fight, you gonna come?
Yeah. If you fight, yeah, I'll be here for that.
He's gonna fight your massage
therapist.
I got your back.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I want to thank our sponsors, Starfish Concept, Junyu, big sponsor we've had for a long time. Also, AKA Thailand, which you've obviously heard about. But if you haven't seen it, I'll go ahead and play a little commercial. But after we say goodbye.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah,
thank you.
Tradition, we gotta appreciate it. I gotta get mine.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. The great Mike Swick. He's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
Real quick, with Mike Swick.